experiences, what you're going through, and how you're managing, how you're coping. It's like an interactive session, but definitely I have a lot of skills that you can start using in order for yourself to have and build a more positive mindset. So, we are in a situation where there's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people have been going through anxiety, and they're worried what's going to happen. Maybe they're already, maybe they're afraid they're going to get sick. If they're not afraid they're going to get sick, maybe they're afraid. Some people, they value and they care about their parents or older people in their family, they're going to get sick, losing their jobs or owning a business. They might be scared that their business is not going to be running as well as they would love for it to be run. Some of you guys have been maybe canceling some events like graduation if you were a student, or maybe some people, I know a friend, she had to cancel a wedding. Some people have been postponing their health issues. They can't go to doctors because everything is canceled. So I believe like everybody's going through something that could bring them anxiety, fear, or this feeling of uncertainty. So when we are feeling those emotions, in your brain, there is something called the amygdala, which is a very small part of your brain, and it's like the size of an almond. And this is responsible for emotional responses. Most of the time, the fear response. So right now, a lot of us maybe are being driven by our amygdalas. So we're thinking of, we're feeling fear. So it's taking the control, the amygdala, and it's making us feel all this anxiety and all this negativity and all this helplessness. While we want the other part of our brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of the brain, it's much bigger, but it's way more compared to the amygdala. If the amygdala is taking control, it's so hard for the prefrontal cortex to take control back. The prefrontal cortex is responsible about regulating your emotions or inhibiting your actions and decision making. And this is what I'm going to try to help you today, is slowly and gradually give you some tips and skills about how to make your prefrontal cortex take control by using some cognitive skills, some emotional skills, and some behavioral skills. So when we are in this much fear, we could think of the situation as a catastrophe, or it's going to lead to a catastrophe. And usually catastrophes, they're triggered, like this way of thinking, when you think that a catastrophe is going to happen, or you're about to be in a catastrophe. Number one is the ambiguity, which is what we're all going through now, the uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen. And we don't know what's going to happen with our jobs. We don't want to know what's going to happen with our health, with the people we love, with the people we care about, with our country, with other countries, with the whole world. So this ambiguity and uncertainty is one of the main things that could trigger anxiety and catastrophizing in your mind. Another reason that could lead to trigger the catastrophizing status of your mind is when you have something that you highly value and it's now at stake. So you could be valuing your relationships, the people who you care about. You could be valuing the time that you go outside and have fun with your friends. You could be valuing the health of your community or the people you care about. You could be valuing your job, your time alone. Sometimes we forget that we value this time, the time alone, and now you're surrounded with your family 24/7. I mean, there is some positives for that, but also some people would value their time alone, doing the things that they like to do, going outside, going outdoors. So this is something that you value at stake, and now this could also trigger the negative thinking and the catastrophizing. A third thing that could also trigger catastrophizing is when you are being depleted or run down. So I know we're sitting at home, we're moving less and we're doing less physical activity, but at the same time you might be, from your anxiety, you might not be sleeping as well. You might be staying up late on TV or social media. So you're not actually resting your mind and body as you should be. And just the anxiety itself, having this high heart rate all the time without even noticing it, could participate in triggering the mentality. Also, if you're scared of stuff, you're scared of going to a hospital, you might be anticipating what if I get what if I get sick and I have to go to the hospital? People who are scared of these places or being just in a closed place for a long time, they could already fear this situation. So this could also trigger your catastrophizing. Now I'll give you some scenarios of how people would, you might not hear yourself, but I'll give you some scenarios how you could be catastrophizing and talking negatively to yourself, that if you notice that you've been doing this, it's a good opportunity to share with us if you've been through any of that. Also, like, I would love for you to share if you have been feeling some anxiety or fear or worry, because we're all having these kind of feelings, maybe at different levels. It's a continuum. Some of us are feeling it more than others. But please share if you have any of the stories or experiences you want to share with us. So one of the ways that some people catastrophize is we call it downward spiral, which means we think of one event and then it's going to drag us down the spiral. So for example, you're going to say, oh my God, we have now 200 people in Jordan who are sick. This means by a week there's going to be 10,000 people who are sick. We can't go to work right now, so probably I'm not very going to be able to go back to work. I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to be able to get money for my family, so my kids are not going to be able to go to good schools, and we're not going to be able to provide for our family. So you started with one event that 200 people have been sick, to that you cannot provide for your family. So this is downward spiral. One event that's triggered a lot of bad events. So if you think this way, this is one of the ways that your mind starts catastrophizing. Another way, we call it a scattershot. So you could start with, oh my God, my mother is old, she's already sick, I'm afraid she's gonna get sick and she might die, and then if she dies, oh yeah, but I can't work anymore right now. Oh my God, and I promised my kids to go vacation on the summer, I can't go on that vacation. Oh, but we don't have enough food for next week. So you're scattershot, like you're thinking of so many bad events that are not linked to each other, but you're keeping this catastrophizing and negative mindset. So I think that's like common. Sometimes we catch ourselves thinking this way, even if you don't verbalize it, but we could, like the thoughts in our mind, the thought train could take us some places like this. The third way is circling, which means you keep repeating the same bad events that are happening. So for example, you say, people are getting sick, everything is closed. And then you keep saying again, oh my God, but everything is closed and people are getting sick and more people are getting sick. Plus, I really don't know how to get over this. We're stuck at home and everybody's getting sick. So you keep circling and talking the same thing to yourself, and you're just kind of stuck in this circle of the bad thing that had happened. Some research says, I would like to mention this because we have some males and females in this seminar. Some research says that amygdala works kind of differently from females to males. So the female, it focuses more in this situation of anxiety and fear, it focuses more on the action. That's why you might find men are more likely to, after they feel the fear and anxiety, they would find something to do. So they would go into action, while females tend to go into more thinking. They would go to thinking more. And this is what could actually help men sometimes, is because we might think that they're not stressed, just because when they're stressed, they start to do something, they get busy with something, and this would help them also distract. So maybe a good way sometimes just to before, I don't want to say it's good to distract yourself. I'm just saying as a result, sometimes you feel men are not in this as much as women, but we're all in it together. We just could react differently. And I'll give you some examples that you can do. I'm not saying that you have to go and distract yourself, because sometimes distracting yourself does not solve the problem. You are going to stay stuck and you're going to keep in this, going through this catastrophic thinking. It's just going to take longer. It could go, come and go, but you're not solving it. We'll talk about ways to solve it later on, but I just wanted to highlight this issue. So we talked about the situation, how these situations like grieving an event that has been canceled. I know that we have been working on a book for 2 years, and the launch was going to be in March 24th, and the book was and the whole launch was canceled. We don't know now if we're going to be able to push the book into sales. Some people have been you know, just exhausted because they have to work at home and homeschool at the same time, exercise, cleaning the house, because I don't know a lot of people if they have help or not like they used to. Some people are going through relationship issues because they're like, now they're spending so much time with the family, and sometimes this could, you know, trigger some fights, or now you're spending time that you have not been used to spending, and you know, some relationship triggers could happen during that time. And you know, some people also, like maybe not in our culture, but other cultures, it could be feeling lonely, or if some of our families members are stuck somewhere outside or in a house or some other country, they could be feeling lonely and isolated, and they're not having the experiences they used to be having, or the relationship and the interaction they used to have. So all this could lead us to the anxiety and the worry and the fear in our mind to start catastrophizing. And we talked about different ways to catastrophize. So I'm gonna now ask you to unmute, and I would love to hear from you before we go into the ways that we can manage this. Who would like to share with us?
I can tell you, I'm the queen of catastrophizing.
Please.
So I can share with you what I've been going through. And because this is totally an example of catastrophizing. I started with Mark is abroad. Now Erbil airport is closed. That means that he can't get home. I can't get to him. Maybe like flights will never come back. Maybe he's stuck there forever. Oh my gosh, like how is he ever going to get back to America? Like, does he have to find a ship to get on? And this led to like, okay, well, I need to have like a contingency plan of when I have to like leave DC because society is collapsing, and how will Mark know that I'm in Pennsylvania and not in DC? So I don't feel that way anymore. I think he will, you know, at some point be able to fly back. But yeah, I mean, you can really go down a deep hole if you like don't, you know, cut the circle at some point.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Mina. This is so, I know it's personal, but sharing it with others could really help others realize going through something. I love this example. This is exactly an example of down spirals. Like we start with the one event and then it goes into catastrophe. You're not gonna be able to find Mark anymore. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. It's not like it's not something funny, but
No, but it is also funny because it's
it's
so
part
far
of
away
coping.
from reality.
Yeah, that's part of coping, which is humor. We're gonna talk about it later. But I got stressed just listening to you talking. I got like um anxious too. Like this is scary. If I were in situation, so this is me listening. So how I wonder how it must have felt also very stressful for you thinking about it. Thank you, Mina. Who else would like to share?
I would like to say something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's totally related to the situation, but since 3 years, wherever any situation happens, if I stop and think, if I can control it, I can do something about it, it's fine. I can be worried. But as long as I cannot control the situation, it's out of my hands, it gets easier for me to deal with it. So when this happened and all the airports like shut off and I felt like I'm really away from my family, in case anything happened, I would not be able to be in Jordan in any soon. So that idea was really terrifying for me, especially that it's only 3 hours flight from Amman, but I felt trapped. But then after a while, when I just sat and thought, oh, okay, there's nothing I can do, everyone is stuck, we are all in this together, I felt better about it and I'm doing fine.
That's great. Thank you, Iman, for sharing. This is you. So you use one of the cognitive skills we're going to talk about, which is thinking about what you can control versus what you need to accept. So thank you for bringing this up. But no doubt everybody felt at some point that they're trapped, or they're anxious, or they're scared, or there's uncertainty in the situation. So who else would like to share? Hi Marta, Hussam, Laith, Omar. We didn't say hi before. Uriham كمان. Anybody would like to share
Yes.
something else?
Yes, no. Good evening.
عندك
This is
إشي؟
Omar.
عمر مين؟
Yes. Actually, it's an experience, not regarding this situation, but it's kind of similar to this situation. Well, 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago, actually, I'm working in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
So I was working there actually. So I had a bad manager. He joined at that time, and to make things harder for me, even with the way he's dealing with me or with the work or with everything. So I got depressed. I got stressed. I even started to get anxious, and I don't know. It was a bad experience for me at that time. But it was December 2017. I started to think that there's a new year coming, and I should have something different. I should have a plan to get out of this situation. At that time, I had my first child. He was two months. The first 2 months in a father experience. So it was really a stressful situation. So I thought if I stay like this, uh, I will lose my peaceful mind. Even I will lose my pleasure with my family, with my enjoying my first child, the experience of the first child. I started to think that I should have a plan to deal with this. With the beginning of 2018, I started to look for a life coach. Actually, I had a conversation with 3 or 4 life coaches at that time. I don't need a life coach. I can be my own life coach. So I started to search, to look for solutions, to look for um, maybe something to help me. I started to read books, to listen to some encouraging speech, to watch some videos of other life coaches, and I don't know. So I had a conversation with my wife that I don't want to stay at that place. I don't want to stay at my workplace. I want to have a new workplace. I want to go back to my country, to be surrounded by my family, by my wife family, even with the people that I used to live with. And I had a plan. I started to work for this. In September 2018, I told my wife, you should go back to Jordan. You should start your life there, and I will keep looking for an opportunity in Jordan to go back to Jordan. She agreed with me. She got a job offer in Jordan, and she went back to Jordan actually at that time, and she started her job there. I didn't think that God will have another plan for me. During 2018, I also worked on my spiritual maybe a relationship with God. I kept praying every day, morning and evening. It was actually an important part of my life. And after I sent my wife to Jordan, she started her job in September. 2 months late after that, I started my MBA degree also an online MBA program. November 2018, I had a phone call from my line manager. He told me that, Omar, I know that you sent your wife to Jordan. I know you are looking for another job, and I have an opportunity for you. We got we had the chance to sign for the first project for my company. I'm working with Nokia Solutions and Network in Jordan. So it's an opportunity for you to go there. It was actually, I never thought that I will have this opportunity. 2 months later, actually it was the most hard 2 months in my life. I'm away from my wife, my son, my family, and I had this chance. They told me that it will be 4 or 5 months maximum, and you will get back to Saudi Arabia. I told him, no, I don't have any issue, I will go. I came to Jordan on 1st of December 2018, and I'm still here. It's now, we are March 27th now, and I'm still in Jordan working with the same company, with the same job, with my family, with my wife, with my son, surrounded with my beloved ones. It was the plan that I was every day looking for it and praying for it to happen. The point here is that you should and you have to trust in God. You have to work on your spiritual life, spiritual relationship with God, with whatever you believe in. I don't know, but you have to work on that part. You have to work on your personal life. You have to work on your professional life, but it's all related together. You have to work on all those parts. You have to trust in yourself, in God, and in the people you used to trust in.
Okay. Omar, thank you so much for sharing your story.
Thank
Probably you've been through a lot of ups and downs during that time. I'm so happy that you feel happy now. You're surrounded with your loved one and you have your job and you have your kids. And thank you for sharing your experience with us. So we're going to talk today about some of the skills. Some of you mentioned, I remember Iman said, and Omar, you both said the same word. You said عادت وفكرت, so which means I sat down and I started thinking. So we're going to talk about this, and you both mentioned the word plan, and we're going to talk about this. Also, Omar mentioned something about spirituality. We can also touch on that, but it was not within the basic skills that we're going to talk about. So we're going to mention that this could go into one of the skills of optimism too. So we're going to start with the cognitive skills that you can use to manage situation that you go through that brings you anxiety, fear, worry, or stress. So first of all, I would like for you, I don't know if you have a paper or a pencil or a pen, bring something that you can write on it. And I want you to think of right now, what is your meaning and purpose? So sometimes just knowing that we have a meaning, that we have a meaning for our life or meaning for our actions, meaning for our relationships, it helps us go through some of the stuff that we go through. Some of you could be just feeling like you're part of something bigger, okay? For Omar, it was something about spirituality. For somebody else, it could be like being the good father or a good mother, okay? So if you have this meaning and this purpose, you could start doing all the actions and all the thinking and all the emotions that you have according to this purpose or this meaning. So I will give you an example. Like if I would think about myself as I want to be a good mother during this time, I will make sure that my interactions with my kids, the way I spend my time with them, the memories I want to create with them are all gonna serve this purpose. Whether I want to exercise, this is going to help serve the purpose of being a good role model for them. If I want to make sure that I'm bringing the humor into the house, this is going to serve the purpose of being the happy, good mother. If I have to like do some reading and self-development, this is going to serve the purpose of if when I develop myself, I'm developing my kids and I'm showing them a good role model. So find your meaning, find your purpose. You could have a purpose as a student that you want to make sure that you are gonna study the thing that you want to study that will serve the purpose of how you want to change the world, or how you want to what do you want to do for this world. Or for example, if you're an owner of a business, like maybe I would think of Joseph as an example. He could talk about himself, but I'm just thinking, as a business owner, your purpose could be making sure that your members and coaches are living with courage and you're celebrating their health and achievements. So if you make sure that your actions during this time related to your business are serving this purpose, this is one step. If after we finish the cognitive skills, I'm gonna give you a chance to share with everybody else. For somebody like Omar, he had a bigger purpose in he felt that he's part of something bigger, so his purpose was making sure he is maybe being just serving the spirituality that he wanted to represent. So each one of you could have their own meaning, their own purpose. It could be something very simple and it could be something very deep. It does not matter. Just having this meaning and purpose in front of you and regulating the actions and the emotions and the thoughts that you have is helpful. Okay. Second thing, which is when you hit the pause button and you notice and observe what's happening, what we call self-awareness. Self-awareness is actually, as I told you, like you hit the pause button and realize what thoughts are in your mind. What are you thinking about X, Y, and Z? What are you feeling during this time? Specifically, I'm talking not just time like the months that we're going through. No, I mean this particular moment, the present moment. What are you feeling? What emotions do you have? What thoughts are going through your mind? What are you thinking? What are you acting? What behaviors are you doing? What reactions? Which words are coming out of your mind? So it's all about self-awareness, being aware of your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Why is it so important? And then with this one, all of you who shared, Mina, Iman, and Omar, they said we sat and we thought. This sitting, the sitting visualization where you sit and you think, this is part of observing what's going on in your head. And why is it so important? Because if you don't observe what's happening, you cannot regulate what's happening. So you need to know what's happening in your mind and your thinking and your emotions and your behaviors in order to regulate them or change them. You need to know them first, and then you can change them. You cannot change something that you don't know or you cannot define. So it's so important. Self-awareness. This is number 2. Number 3, optimism. So optimism is so important in positive thinking, in coping, in resilience, because basically optimism means that you believe in a better future. You believe there is good in the world. Some good thing is going to happen. Good people are around you. Good outcomes are going to happen. There is ultimate optimism when we think of a good future and good things that's going to happen. This is about the future. And there's another kind of optimism, which is now the present moment. And I'm going to focus more on the present moment because nobody now knows the future. But just having the mentality that you trust there's something good going to happen is very helpful in optimism. Speaking of optimism in the present moment, there are 3 things cognitively you can think about and regulate your thoughts regarding optimism in the present. So the first one is when you see a situation that has uncertainty, fear, something you value is at risk, is you look at this situation as a challenge instead of a threat. The moment you look at the situation as a threat, you're mostly going to withdraw from it and you're going to be, passive about it. So you're not going to do anything about it. For example, let's take the situation that we are in as an example. If you see that staying at home, not being able to go out to get your stuff, the stuff that you might need, not being able to go out for work or kids for school, and your health might be at risk. If you look at this situation as a threat, you're not going to do anything about it. You're going to be passive. You might be even negative about it. So you might actually start not caring about your health and not caring about the hygiene and not caring about your job, and you just don't want to do nothing, and you want to contribute to nothing. This is the reaction when you look at something as the situation as a threat. Well, if you look at the situation as a challenge, you're going to think of the things that you can control versus the things that you can't control. So if this is a challenge and the things that you can't control is that you cannot go outside the house, you don't know what's going to happen in the future, what are the things that you can control? If you look at, there's a huge amount of things that you can control. You can control where to sit at home. You can control which station you want to listen to. You can control to move or not move. You can control to be happy or be sad. You can control how to talk to people around, to your family around you. You can control to study or not to study, to work or not to work. So if you look at this as a challenge from the beginning, this will help you start determining if I can't control to go out or in, or if I'm going to get sick or not, or the world's going to stop or not. No, I have so many other things that I can control on the other hand. So looking at the situation as a challenge, not a threat. Focusing on the things that you can control versus the things that you can't control. And what are the things that you need to accept? So if you keep thinking in a circling, in a train of thought that I cannot get outside, the world is shutting down. If you keep thinking on these things that you cannot control, it's going to take a lot of your energy. You're going to feel depleted. You're going to feel defeated. Well, if you just accept the fact that you cannot get outside, things are shutting down, you don't have to put as much energy in this negative way of thinking and the things that you can't control, and you can put all your energy in the things that you actually can control. So in this moment, if you can get up and move and do burpees, I'm just telling you as a fitness trainer that you have the control to do this. If you can control to eat the chips or to have a cucumber, you have the power and the energy to make this decision and to take control. If you control to wake up and do your routine of waking up and doing your job, or having the energy to be more patient and more compassionate with the people around you. So you are saving your energy for the things that you can control that will make actually a difference in your daily life. Well, you're not putting your energy in something you cannot change, and you just need to accept it. I don't know, there's a very well-known, I think it's for all religions, a serenity prayer. I like it a lot. It's called, who can remind me? Something about accept the things that I cannot change. Well,
it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things I can't change, courage to change the things I can, and grant me wisdom to know the difference.
To know the difference. So this is exactly what we're talking about in the optimism, in the presence. So we need to have the serenity to accept the things that we can't change, the things that we can't control, and the courage and the bravery to change the things that we can control. It could be as simple as eating healthy or exercising, or as big as continuing working on your project and delivering and fulfilling your purpose. And then the wisdom to know the difference. To know the difference between the things that you can control and the things you can't control. Because if you don't know the difference, you're gonna deplete your energy on the things that are actually unchangeable. And please think of for yourself, think of the examples in your life right now and how you can apply these concepts. We're gonna go to number 4, which is, this is so important, and I'm gonna send you, everything is important. I notice I've been saying everything is important. But anyways, I'm gonna send you a link to a questionnaire. It's called Character Strength Questionnaire. It's gonna take a long time, so you're gonna do it on your own after the seminar. But basically, it tells you what are your, so there's 24 characteristics strength, and they are all the value that those 2 researchers decided that they're gonna, these values work across all time, all places. They've did a lot of research and in so many aspects that they came up with this 24 character strength. And then after you do the questionnaire, they're just gonna put them in an order for you. What are your top character strengths, and then the bottom ones. What I want you to do is, if you happen to do the questionnaire, or if you do not do the questionnaire, and you know what is the best of you, the best of yourself, the values that are always showing in your actions, using those in such situations. So think for yourself and define what are your character strengths. For example, I'll give you an example. You'll be able to know more once you do the questionnaire, but I'll give you an example. For me, when I did the questionnaire, and this is also something that I know about myself, I'm a curious person. I like to learn. I'm always trying to learn and read and find topics to learn more about. Like if I'm in a conversation and somebody mentions something, I would go to Wikipedia or Google it and learn everything about it. This is part of who I am. And I think this is a very good value that I really appreciate about myself. So in this situation, when I'm locked and I cannot go outside, I'm just using the best of myself and this character is strength of me, the curiosity, and I'm using it to learn more, taking some online courses and going deeper into the things that interest me. So this is one of the ways. Some of you people could have humor at the top of their list. So now how you're going to use the best of yourself, which is humor, in going through the situations. Maybe you can start making jokes and share it with the people, or making funny videos. So it depends from person to person. What are your character strengths and how you're going to use it. And also at the same time, the bottom list for me, humor is the bottom list, in the bottom of my list. Probably everybody knows by now if you've been around me for a while. So I appreciate humor, but I don't have it. It's not at my top of my list. It's way in the bottom. So now I'm trying as much as possible in this time to bring humor, because it's also a good way to cope with stress and anxiety. So I'm trying just to show it more. This thing that I value, I'm trying to show it up more in my actions with my kids, with my neighbors, just try to have fun more. So I'm going to send you the link for this questionnaire at the end of the seminar. You can do it and then you can have fun doing it, and then think of the best parts of yourself, the best of yourself, how are you going to use it in this situation, considering this as a challenging situation, and how you can grow and show the things that you value, but they're at the bottom of the list, how you can show them more in your actions. The last thing we're going to talk cognitively, then we're going to move to emotional and behavioral, which is mindfulness. Now, a lot of you have heard of the word mindfulness. There's a lot of research talking about they're using mindfulness in almost everything. It really helps. I'm not going to go through details, but basically I'm going to give you one tip to use it and how you're going to do mindfulness in a fun way. But basically mindfulness is focusing on the present moment. So you're not thinking of the past and you're not thinking of the future. You're thinking of this moment right now, and you're being appreciative of the moment. We'll talk a little bit more about the positive emotions that comes with mindfulness. But for now, what I want you to practice right now, everybody, something that will bring you to the moment is we're gonna do like a small game. It's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And what you're gonna do right now, you're gonna look. We're going to have 5 things that you can see. Right now, you need to spot 5 things that you can see. I'll give you a few seconds. Spot 5 things that you can see. I'm doing it with you guys. And now you're going to spot 4 things that you can touch. 4 things that you can touch. So touch 4 things now. Different textures, or even different objects. You don't have to have different textures. And then you're gonna find 3 things that you can hear. Three things that you can hear. Close your eyes if you need to focus more. Probably you can hear my voice, that's 1. Find 2 more. And then you're gonna find 2 things that you can smell. It's so hard sometimes for a lot of us if we have congested noses. Also, like, it's one of the first signs of corona is like if you can't smell or taste. So if you can't smell now, be checked. But I'm just trying to be funny.
And now you are being funny. Haha, you're doing your best.
I'm doing my best, exactly.
I know.
Think of 2 things that you can smell. And the last one is find one thing that you can taste. Sometimes this is a fun game that can bring you to the present moment, using your senses to bring you back to your present moment. Another way that you can do mindfulness is through breathing. So you can practice your breathing, which means you can put one hand in your chest and one hand in your tummy. So one hand on the chest, one hand on the tummy, and you breathe in, count to 4. This is kind of average number for everybody who can. So the more you breathe and learn how to work on your breathing, you can go bigger numbers. But now we're going to focus on 4. So breathing into 4, make your belly go big. So blow your tummy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it to 4. And then exhale slowly, counting to 4. You make sure that your hand on the chest does not go up and down, just the hand on the tummy that goes up and down as you breathe. Sometimes spending 2 to 3 minutes, if you can go for 5 minutes breathing, just focusing on your breath, counting your breath also helps you with mindfulness and brings you back to the moment. It has other benefits, which are that when we are anxious and fearful and stressed, the fight or flight response kick in. It might kick in without anything happening, without any triggers, just because if you're in that mode and the amygdala is taking over. So when you're in the fight or flight response, you're going to have higher heart rate, you're going to have your heart pumping faster, you could be sweating, you could be out of breath. So sometimes working on your breathing for a couple of minutes is going to do actually completely the opposite. It's going to activate your parasympathetic system, and it's going to tell your body, like, everything's okay, you can breathe, so take calm down, and this will affect your heart rate and your breathing and everything else. So breathing, and then the 5 4 3 2 1 go 3 2 1 game. Any questions? If you have questions, I'm gonna give you a chance to share after we finish all the skills. But if you have any questions about the cognitive, please, you can text it or you can unmute and ask a question. Okay, it seems nobody has questions. We're gonna move on to the emotional. The emotional, we have 3 skills that we could use. So the first of all, we talked about it before, but so with the catastrophizing, we've been talking about the negative thoughts and the negative emotions. Optimism has positive emotions, but also one of the things that we're gonna help us get more positive emotions is gonna help us also look at the things from a different perspective, and will help us more with our coping skills is humor. And I've just talked about this before. So think of the things that makes you happy, makes you laugh, the people who make you laugh, the things that you could read or watch that make you laugh. Just or when you're like feeling scared or anxious, make a joke about it. This will help you ease down a little bit, relax a little bit, fight the fight or flight response a little bit. You will find yourself making jokes, and sometimes it's just natural that we might laugh at the worst things or the most horrible news. We find sometimes ourselves laughing or making a joke about it. This is a natural mechanism to cope with stress, so use it, it's okay. Now we all need to have humor, we need to have happiness, we need to have positive emotions. So if you know there's a show that makes you laugh, you can watch it, it's okay. You can calm down and laugh, and this will help you become more positive and work, cope with your anxiety. Another thing that you can work with emotions is gratitude, and I would say it's the most important thing, the gratitude. So appreciating what you have, appreciating the things that you already have, instead of thinking and putting your energy in the things that you can't have or the things you cannot do. And how you can, so gratitude doesn't come once, so you can't just say now, oh thanks, I have this beautiful place. Doesn't happen once. We have to practice gratitude. So you need to find yourself like a practice. It could be, I give you some ideas. It could be like you can have a gratitude journal, writing down every day 3 things that you're grateful for. You could start with big things like having food to eat, or a house to live in, or a family that you love. It could start as this simple or this obvious, and then as you get more into the practice of the gratitude journal every single day, you will start to appreciate the things that you did not notice before, the things that you thought and you took for granted. And this also will help boost way more your optimism, your resilience, and your positive mindset, thinking of the things that you appreciate. Another practice that you can do for gratitude, you can write some posters and some post-it notes around the house that have a lot of positive emotions and gratitude messages. You can also contact the people you care about and you're grateful for, and you can tell them how much you love them or care about them or you're thankful. This is a good practice to show gratitude and for you to feel the gratitude, because it's not just you want to show gratitude to people who you care about, you want to feel it yourself. So when you share it, when you feel it, you're going to share it. But I really highly encourage you. I like the three the gratitude journal. It works a lot, very good. You can do it with the whole family. You can do it with your kids. You can sit at the dinner table or just before bed, and you can think of three things that you're grateful for, or three things that good that happened today. So you're helping yourself and the people around you focus on the positive aspects of the situation and the good things that we have in life, the good things and the good experiences we're enjoying right now, instead of focusing on the negative ones. What also comes into the emotional skills is, you know, if you know some things bring you negative emotions, like if you are watching news for a long time and you feel sad and anxious every time you turn on the TV or you read um, on your phone the news, well, try to limit this time. If you need to know what's happening, I know you need to know what's happening with the world. Just make it at a certain time for a certain period of time, so you don't spend a lot of time in the negative mode. Same thing with social media. If you go on social media and you're the kind of person, we all are kind of this person. Sometimes we could feel anxious or we could feel not happy when we look at other people's social media. So try to limit this time as much as possible. Try to focus on the things that bring you happiness and bring you positivity instead of negativity. You need it the most. If you did not, if it was not critical some other time, now it is critical the most. Now it's time for productivity. It's not time to be passive and not doing anything. It's time to produce according to what the purpose that you're serving. It's time to put your energy in what you can control. It's time to um, build the relationships that you care about. So make sure that you're filling your cup with positivity as much as possible. So with this, we talked about the three things of the emotional skills that you can emotional aspects that you can work on. I have what's exactly meaning of resilience in this situation? That's a very good, important question, Wurud. So resilience in this situation, resilience means your ability to bounce back from hard situations or to grow through them. So now in our situation, since the situation did not end and we have uncertainty and we don't know how it's going to end, and we don't know what are the things that we could lose or to what extent the hardship it could be, I would say resilience in this situation is growing through the resilience. We have a situation, we don't know how long it's going to be, it's hard. We want to grow through this. We want to think of the positive things, we want to think of the best of us, use it in this challenge, look at it as a challenge, do the things that we can control, accept the things that we can't control, have some more self-awareness. If we have something we value that's not showing in our actions, let's work on it, show it in our actions. um, let's fulfill our purpose. So this is how you can be resilient in this situation, to grow through this, not let it crush you down and threat you. No, we need to use it. It's a great opportunity to use it, um, if we were to think about it in a positive way. Did I answer your question? I'll give you a chance to share after we finish the last thing, which is the behavioral. The behavioral, I would say number one is having a routine. Why is it important to have a routine? Like having a routine, waking up at a certain hour, having breakfast at a certain time, having work time, at homework time, teaching kids or doing your own work online, having dinner time or lunch time, exercise time, reading time. Just make sure that you have a full schedule for your day. Because we are in a certain situation, it's so good for you to know that your day is certain. You have a schedule for the day. You can control your day. You cannot control what's going to happen in a month, but you can control what's going to happen the next hour, صح? Within your household. So this makes you feel grounded and feel certain and feel positive and feel in control. do a routine, do a schedule for your day and your family. This is very, very helpful. And also, it will take away the decision making fatigue. If every time you wake up and you want to decide what to have for breakfast, and you want to decide when you're going to work and when you're going to do your exercise, this is going to take a lot of your energy. It's going to fatigue you to do these small decisions. So instead of putting this energy in the small decision that's going to happen anyway, make a schedule, stick to it, a routine. It will help everybody in the house, especially kids. They will know what to expect. They will follow more the instructions, and it will take off a lot of the fatigue in the decision making within your day. So this is number one, having a routine. Another thing is having exercise. It's so important to do exercise on daily basis. Exercise is gonna, we're not moving as much. Usually you would go, we might not have a very active lifestyle, but just staying at home in a maybe 200 square meter house, it's so hard to do such the amount of movement that you used to do maybe before. So it's so important to move, for your body, for your health, for your immunity, for your mental health, for the endorphins to kick up and be happy and be active. Plus, it's a great activity for the whole family to do it together. Um, it could also serve your purpose of being a role model, or make taking care of your health, or being the best you can for yourself and others. So it's so important to put exercise in your daily life. You don't have to do a full hour of exercise. Sometimes 10 minutes is more than enough, as long as it's within your schedule and you're doing it daily. Um, I cannot stress enough how exercise is important, and I'm so grateful for internet, because now we can do all the exercises online. I did a yoga session online. I can I can still do my coaching online through the members that I care about. So I'm sure everybody, all of you here guys, have access to our online classes. So make the best of it. Even if you can't attend the whole class, if you can come just at the Metcon and do it and leave, or just do the warm up, it's still gonna serve its purpose. A third thing is making sure that you're resting. A lot of you could be not sleeping enough. Maybe you're watching movies, Netflix, staying up late with the kids or on social media, or you don't feel like you're tired just because you're not moving as much, so you could be missing on sleep. We're gonna have a seminar about sleeping, specifically with Saif, I think maybe next week. So he's gonna talk more about sleeping and resting. But it's so important. Breathing comes within the resting, and it'll also give you some time down for yourself to think and just be off the hook. You don't have to be always doing something. Sometimes you can just lie in bed and rest and breathe and sleep. It's part of mental health. Make sure you're putting some time for learning, self-development, reading. Even if you do like 1 page a day, if you do it with your kids, or if you do it for work or for studying, just make sure that you're doing something for self-development. And again, in the behaviors, I would say always use the best of yourself. Think of the best of yourself and use it in this challenge. Use it in the time that you're having, especially with relationships. Having compassion. Just now you are listening to this seminar and knowing that there's something called catastrophizing, and you could be having like some issues with people around you care about. Maybe you're living now in the same house and you're interacting more with each other, so you're getting to interact more. Sometimes could be negative, sometimes could be positive, but knowing that they could be also in the same situation. They could be catastrophizing, they could be stressed, they could be scared. Just knowing that we're both the same, we're going through this, could help you with compassion, and being knowing that if I'm feeling it, probably they're feeling it, so I need to help them as much as I need to help myself. Also belonging to a group. We are all in houses, but we still belong to groups. Like you belong to CrossFit Crescent group. You could belong to your Marta, for example. You could still belong to your group of friends. I don't know. The Spanish speaking group community. Mina, I'm sure you have a community back there in DC. Maybe just a couple of neighbors. Maybe your community is online. As long as you try to be part of this group and keep interaction between you guys, whether it's online, whether I know it's face to face, it's hard, so probably everything's going to be online now, but making sure that you are part of a group, it helps you with with the support that you need, with the compassion that you need to practice and build. Don't be socially isolated. It's so hard for me, so I'll tell you something about me. I'll share something. I'm an introvert person. I'm so good at interactions and social situations, but if I have the choice, I would just be with myself, and I love it so much. So now I'm enjoying the situation so much because I don't have to do as much interactions as I used to. But now I'm realizing I should get out of my comfort zone. My comfort zone is to be isolated and be with myself and do the things that I like to do with myself, but now it's a challenge that I have to find other groups and other ways to interact with the outer world and get out of my comfort zone, because it's great to have the support of a community. So I might be the opposite of some of you guys, but some of you could be just like me. But there's a lot of room for improvement here for me here, and I'm trying as much as possible to be more interactive with the people and the groups that I belong to. Also doing service to others, helping others. Find a way that you can help someone else. Find a way, even if not directly, through other people, through a purpose, through a message, through an entity. Being a service to others and helping others gives you you know, a feeling of satisfaction, and that you're not alone. You're part of something bigger. You're part of a positive community that all help each other, that all belong to each other. We all want the best for each other. So I want the best for you, and please let me know how can I help each and every one of you. Maybe not through the classes, maybe personally. You can text me, and I'm available anytime. So please make me be of service to each one of you. And with this, this is what I've been preparing for you today for the mindset seminar. I would love for you now, if anybody would like to share. If you have to go, you can go. It's 6 o'clock. I was expecting to be an hour, so from 5 to 6. So if you have to leave, you can leave. If you can stay and you want to share, that would be lovely.
Well, I'm going to share my purpose that you mentioned in the beginning. And I think for me, it's to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And, at least in DC, I think it's the same. In Georgia, actually, I think it's the same everywhere. That means staying indoors, staying in your home, even if it's hard. And like you said just now, like still finding my kind of sense of community. So for me, it's so lovely to be part of Crescent again. Like really, like I just miss you guys all the time. But also in DC, like seeing who needs help and helping them. Like I went to the store and I saw a homeless person, and I thought, oh my gosh, like how are they doing in these, really just terrible, uncertain times? So, I got food for them and helped them, and that made me feel like we're all in this together. So yeah, definitely. That's my purpose.
We're so happy that you're part of our community.
Yeah.
Forever in DC.
Yes.
This is the benefits of online. You have to find your group no matter where they are.
Yeah, and look at what Corona did. It made me be part of Crescent again. So yeah.
Great moment. Who else would like to share? Thank you, Mina. I'm gonna take a selfie just before people leave. Wait, I should do like this. Okay. Who would like to share, Kaman? Wurud had to go. Thank you, Wurud, for joining. Omar, now it's a time for turtle mode. You mean like, need to be slow at doing stuff? Because maybe I said it's time to be productive. Maybe slow productivity. As long as we're progressing, no matter how slow or fast, we're good. Anybody else would like to share or say something. We have new people on, Ismail, Uzaid. Oh, Marta, please. Can you unmute Marta? Can you unmute yourself?
No, I have to go.
Okay, bye. Oh, okay.
Thank you for
Bye, Marta.
everything. It was very nice.
Thank you so much for being
Right.
here. Bye. Okay, it seems that nobody wants to. I mean, time to go indoor. Ah. Indoor. Okay. Ah, because turtles go indoor under the ground. Okay, now I get it. See, I'm so bad with humor, guys. I'm so bad with it. I'm trying to work on this, but I don't get jokes easily. Just the face that you put helped me realize it's a joke. Thank you so much, guys, for being here and spending this hour together. It was very, yani, it was a very good time for me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, Hussam. Thank you, Ismail. Thank you, Omar, Umina, Iman, everybody else. Please let us know how we can help. Probably we're going to save this video so you can watch it anytime. You can go over the tips and the things we talked about. And you can find it on Facebook videos. Okay?
Thank you so much for your time and hope to see you physically soon.
Me too. Mean hi.
Iman.
Oh, Iman. أنا سمعت اليوم أشوف مين اللي unmuted. إن شاء الله. Yes. Let's believe in a good, better future.
Of course. The better is yet to come, inshallah.
Yes. Have a good day. Take say hi to the kids.
Inshallah. Bye-bye.